What is going on, everybody? I am back today to do more of a discussion video than a specific review. And today I'm going to be talking about everyone's favorite topic, and that is remakes. And I did a video well over a year ago, probably now, where I talked about remakes that I liked more than the original. But with the release of Speak No Evil this week, I just wanted to share my thoughts on American remakes and just remakes in general, because I find the whole concept of the remake to be incredibly fascinating. But when this remake in particular was announced, I was kind of baffled by it, to be quite honest. This is a movie that's around 2 years old now, so it's relatively fresh. And my mind just immediately went to why? What is the point? The original movie got such an incredible reception. I remember when I released my YouTube and my TikTok reviews, they blew up, tons of comments and interactions. People in America specifically were watching this movie, the original. It was disturbing, it was eerie, it was uncomfortable, and it was very well made. And I really appreciated that a lot about the movie. And it was nice because it was released on Shudder, and there were so many people talking about that, and it just gets you very excited for independent horror that someone could come up with this concept that's not necessarily different than things that we've seen before, but executed in a very unique way. And as soon as I saw the Blumhouse production company logo on this, I was not 100% surprised, a little bit disappointed. Blumhouse is not a company that I feel like always picks the greatest products. I'm looking at you, Night Swim and Imaginary from this year, that are just absolutely terrible. I know they put out another movie called Afraid, I think, that people are saying is absolutely horrible. And I'm interested because watching Jason Blum in interviews, and Jason Blum has given some great directors the ability to create content. I mean, look at James Wan and his career and what he's done with working with Blumhouse early on in his career. And it's like you see independent horror companies like this that could give money to promising filmmakers that want to make things of quality, but instead we get these really poorly written, horribly shot and filmed movies that it just makes no sense to me. And so seeing it attached to this movie, I was kind of puzzled. But at the same time, Blumhouse likes to cash in quickly, and they probably saw the success of the original and said, I wonder if we can do the same thing. But what I think so annoying about it, and why I wanted to talk about this today, is I feel like the reason these American remakes happen is because people are too lazy to read subtitles. And it's really disappointing because some of the greatest movies ever made are subtitled. And if you want to appreciate film and you want to enjoy art, sometimes you have to watch movies that aren't in the language that you speak. And I think that movies like this, what infuriates me about it is essentially saying that film living on its own wasn't good enough. We have to do it again. And I've talked about this in my remake video specifically. I think if you have purpose to a remake and there's a reason for why you want to remake movies and there's something you think you can add to the material, I understand it. I think there are a ton of properties that have existed over the years that could use a remake, to be quite honest, and that could be rebooted and revamped and have things added to it. But this is a movie that existed and that accomplished everything that I felt like it set out to do in a way that was so incredibly effective that in my mind I just think, why? What is the purpose to creating a remake of this movie other than to just have a quick cash grab? And I don't really have any intentions on watching this movie. There's something about it that just feels really gross to me about remaking a movie that's only 2 years old. It's also like the trailer looked terrible, and I've seen a ton of people complain online about the trailer. But there are some remakes of foreign films or just remakes in general that I feel like are deserved. Like, for instance, when I think about an American remake that I prefer to the original, I think about Gore Verbinski's The Ring. I watched the original Ring film, the Japanese version, for the first time, I think it was last year, and I was relatively underwhelmed by it. I feel like the concept of the movie, everything that hinges on Gore Verbinski's version, is the ticking clock element. And there's a lot of great horror and terrifying imagery in that. My issue with the original Ring is the concept is phenomenal, but it lacked tension for me, especially like in the middle parts of the movie. It felt very meandering and it didn't feel like it really created a sense of dread and horror until the third act, and I still felt like that imagery wasn't all that great. Where Gore Verbinski's feels like a gut punch from the very first frame. You're sucked into this world that is very dreary and depressing, and then you just kind of pile on to that, and as a viewer, it's very unsettling. It also has an incredible score. And so I can see like Gore watching the original and saying, here are some things that I can add to it to make it a new experience. But after reading some reviews from Speak No Evil, a lot of people are saying that it's a shot for shot remake until the third act. And it's like, okay, so you change the ending, which what made the ending of the movie so incredibly effective is the brutality of it and just the complete and total hopelessness of it. And that's what made it so great. And immediately in my mind, when I saw the trailer, I'm like, it's an American remake. They're going to pull that away. They're not going to do that in an American remake of a movie. They're not going to make it hopeless. They're not going to do what those directors did. And so to me, that feels useless. It's like, what are you adding on to this thing that already exists? And I don't know. I'm just interested to hear people's opinions about this. Because like I said, there are remakes I love. I talk about the Suspiria 2018 remake, which feels like its own unique, fresh vision of an idea that already existed, but it's doing something entirely new. And I like that a lot. I enjoy Let Me In, which is the Let the Right One In remake. It feels a little different tonally, and I can appreciate it. But like to see a remake of a movie that's only 2 years old now, that feels like it's just Blumhouse trying to cash in on a quick buck, it just felt kind of gross to me. And I'm honestly curious to hear in the comments what you guys think. Let me know what you think about these remakes, because I also think about like the Old Boy remake, which had a little bit bigger of a gap in between it. But it's fascinating to me when these properties that are so incredibly effective, that work as their own unique piece of cinema, are immediately taken in and remade. And it just, I don't know. I wish those movies could exist on their own unless there is a real purpose for the remake. And this just feels relatively purposeless for me. So, what do you think about remakes? Let me know in the comments. I always find it interesting to hear you guys' perspectives. You always provide really thoughtful and engaging commentary, and I always like posing these types of questions. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.